Hey guys, welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational platform. Today is Saturday, the 8th of August, and it's 6:27 p.m. This is Youth Week. If you have no idea, Youth Week started on the 6th of August and ends on the 12th of August, I believe. And there are a series of activities that are happening to mark the week and celebrate young people across the globe. And here in Kenya, I will be engaged in different activities. And the purpose of this episode of Cynthia Untamed is to take you through how I normally prepare to moderate panels and to also support speaking engagements. I'm building a brand when it comes to speaking and also moderating panels. So I'm going to show you little bits here and there of what it takes to have effective moderating skills and speaking skills in any event. Stay tuned. The first panel I'm going to moderate is a panel on mental health. We know that mental health is important to the well-being of young people, and especially right now in a time of a pandemic, young people are struggling with their mental health. So the National Youth Council, in partnership with UNICEF, Red Cross, LVCT, Childline Kenya, are having an event on Sunday 9th August to discuss mental health issues and psychosocial well-being, and also provide resources for young people. Our speakers will include Raymond Ochieng from the State Department of Youth, Roy Sasaka from the National Youth Council, the PS in the Ministry of Youth and ICT, our CAS Nadia in the Ministry of ICT as well, a young person who's benefited from Red Cross program, speakers from LVCT, Childline Kenya, NACADA. Yes, so we will have those speakers and they will be talking about the resources that are available. Additionally, the Kenyatta National Hospital will also have Dr. David Bukusi, who will be talking about mental health support for young people at Kenyatta National Hospital. So I have already had a meeting with the partners who are in charge of the event, and I've asked them what exactly they want to come out of the event. The event will be streamed live on Facebook. By the time you watch this, the event will be over, so do make sure you go to National Youth Council Facebook page and check out that event and find out the resources that are available for you as a young person for your mental health. So I have already had a discussion with the partners in charge, and I've asked them the key messages that they want to come out of the event. What exactly do they want young people to know? And one of the partners, being UNICEF, has requested that we also focus on how Generation Unlimited will be supported through this. For those who do not know, Generation Unlimited was launched on Wednesday, 5th August by the President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and this is a partnership to empower young people through education, skills, and employment opportunities. And one of the ways is to remove bottlenecks that prevent the success of Generation Unlimited, and one of them is mental health issues. So this is one of the key messages that will come out of the event, and as a Generation Unlimited youth ambassador and the moderator of this panel, I will strive to ensure that this comes out. We will also have issues on how young people and especially children can access mental support, and especially when they are abused, and confidentiality when they report these cases through Childline Kenya. So do make sure you follow that conversation on Facebook, National Youth Council page. We will also have speakers. I've already had a conversation with the speakers or their relevant personal assistants, and I already know what they're going to talk about. And one of the speakers will be a young person who has benefited from the Kenya Red Cross Society programs on mental health. So let me show you how I normally come up with questions. I already have them, but I'm going to take you through, especially just because we have an additional speaker who's just been added right now as we speak. So I need to research on the question I will ask that particular panelist. Yes, so let's go to the computer. The first thing you need to do is identify whether there's a concept note for that event. For this particular event, there's a concept note. This is the concept note. As you can see, it just outlines what the event is about. It's okay not to be okay, mental health and young people. Then it gives you details of what the event is about and what the objectives of the event are. So it's so important for you to familiarize yourself with that because it will really be helpful when you start researching the topic, especially if it's a topic that you're not an expert in. Remember, you're just going to manage the session, you're not going to be speaking. So you need to know how you're going to ensure that your panelists bring out the points that are needed for that particular event. So that is the concept note. The other thing that is helpful is a note for speakers. This is my note for speakers here, and this was done in collaboration with the partners. So it's important for you to work with the partners of that event, especially if you're not the organizer of that event. So our hashtag is going to be mind your mind. By the time you see this, you will have already realized that. If you want to follow the conversation, do make sure you just search hashtag mind your mind and you'll be able to see that. This enables the speakers to know what the event is about, what is expected of them from the session, how they can manage their time and all that. And we also developed key messages. What do we want our audience to hear? This is going to be a virtual event, so it's so important for the audience to know what are the key messages, what do we want to talk about. And as you can see, we'll be talking about general mental health, self-care, stigma, and shame. Those are the issues that we will be addressing. Each of the speakers has an allotted speaking time, as you can see. Honorable Nadia, Eric Salvatori, uh, and the other panelists will have enough time to address whatever it is that they want to address, as you can see. So that is very, very important. Now, like I told you, we have an additional panelist from NACADA. As you can see, we only had 3 panelists. So it means that I have to uh, create another question for this particular speaker. I'll have to add another question here just so that I know what to ask this particular speaker. Remember, as a moderator, you may not necessarily be a specialist of this topic. So I have shown you the speaker note and the concept note. So our speakers, you can see outlined in the event, our additional panelist is Dr. Richard Gakunju from NACADA. I don't know him, but I know NACADA deals with drugs and reduce of substance abuse in the country. So at least I have a background on that. But just to ensure that I have a proper question and it's framed properly, I need to research who Dr. Richard Gakunju is and also read a little bit about NACADA. So of course I'll go to Google, search Dr. Richard Gakunju from NACADA. You can see that his profile appears. So I'll just click on either of the links just to see. So let me see who is. Okay, so there you go. So I already know he sits on the NACADA. So let's search what NACADA is about. NACADA. It's important to have an understanding of where your panelist or speaker is coming from. This is the NACADA website. For a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse, get involved. So let's just have a quick overview of what they do. So that's the team. So you see they do public education and advocacy, counseling and rehabilitation, compliance, risk management and quality control, research, policy and planning, and then there are a few stories there. So I need to frame this question properly. What I did is got for the other panelists, I just got a guideline of the organizations they work with and then came up with a question. Remember, a question to your panelists is a statement, then the question. So I'm thinking, what should I bring out of this? Public education and advocacy, counseling and rehabilitation. Let's see. I think I want counseling and rehabilitation to come out, and maybe he'll address the other things. So let's go there. That's the page. NACADA liaises with both public and private institutions to provide and facilitate the development and operation of treatment and rehabilitation facilities, programs, and standards. So this will be the page that I will use. Basically, this point is what I will use to come up with a question. I'm going to have to frame a question. So let me think about it, and then I'll show you what I come up with. So this is what I will ask him. NACADA's vision is to have a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse. What are some of the ways you have supported young people who are addicted to drugs and alcohol due to mental health issues? And has there been an increase in drug abuse since the onset of the pandemic? The key issues we want to highlight here is how COVID-19 has affected young people and some of the resources that are available to them to ensure that they are healthy mentally, especially now because of a pandemic, and how they can continue living their lives positively. That's why we are focusing on that, and the other questions will revolve around the same issues. So his Dr. Richard Gakunju will revolve around drug abuse, and the other panelists will also have their issues to address. This is what I am wearing for the National Youth Council event on mental health awareness. It's an Ethiopian dress. I like it. I'm a lover of fashion and beautiful things. So this is the dress I will be wearing. It's a dress and a scarf. I'm thinking of whether I should put the headscarf on my head or on my waist. I haven't decided. But as a moderator, it's important for you to dress and look nice on the day, just so that you also feel confident with yourself. I have this shoe with me. I like it. I don't know, there's something about it. I just like the fact that it's simple and just different. I like the fact that it's different. So this is what I will be wearing together with the Ethiopian dress. And I like the fact that the heel is not too pointed, so I won't strain when I'm moving around. I like this shoe. Hi guys! So I'm here at Parklands Baptist Church. I've just finished moderating the session of the day. One of our speakers was Eric Salvatore. He has a cool name, right? Yeah. And he was just sharing how it's okay to not be okay. Eric, say hi.
Hi guys. Keep in mind your own mind. It's okay not to be okay.
Eric is such an excellent speaker. He actually outlined how to take care of your mental health without feeling discouraged, and he used a whole demonstration toolkit. I'm so glad he didn't speak too much. But he did so well. Maybe Eric, you can tell us what you gained from the session today.
Today I've gained so much. Kitu ya kwanza unafaa kuwa self aware. Hiyo ndo kwanza unafaa ujikubali we mwenyewe, ukubali that uko na stress. Find somebody mwenye unaweza mu-explainia about your condition, kitu yoyote, as in problem share is half solved. Msisahau hiyo kitu, as in ukishare, the more you share, the more you unatoa hiyo burden.
Santieri. So I've just finished the session of the day. I got here really early. It's important for you as a moderator to arrive at the event in time, speak to your panelists, get to know who they are, and also just be confident and self-aware. I was very nervous today because this is sort of the biggest panel I've ever moderated, but I was just I just try to stay calm and to stay prepared, like I showed you, coming up with questions in time, researching about the organization, and making sure that our online viewers were also engaged. So that went well. Yeah, I am here at Parklands Baptist Church. This was the venue of the event, and I'm so glad it ended. Asante sana to National Youth Council for coming up with the event here. It was wonderful, wonderful to meet Eric, wonderful to meet the other panelists. Asante sana. And let's keep moving to the second session of moderation and speaking. So this is how I look when I'm working. I have my head tied up. I'm just here. I'm trying to feel relaxed. This year's International Youth Day, I'm going to have 3 events. I have a moderating panel in the morning, then I'm going to speak in the afternoon and moderate another panel later in the evening. So I'm just reading an email. This one is through Generation Unlimited, and we're going to be talking about education, skills, and employability. And we are going to launch a report called What Works? A Guide to Action to foster knowledge exchange and learning on key innovations and partnerships around skills, employability, entrepreneurship, employment, and young people's participation and civic engagement. So I'm trying to prepare for it. What we've done is I have attended a pre-webinar just for me to familiarize myself with the people who will be in charge of the event and what is expected of me. They took us through the programs and just enabled me to understand where I'm going to fit in. My other co-ambassadors from the different countries, Bangladesh, Argentina, all the other countries, Ghana, Nigeria, will also have different roles within the sessions, but I'm going to co-moderate one of the panels, and it's quite exciting because it is a learning experience. So I'm reading through the emails right now. I'm reading through the emails, trying to understand what the day will be about, but I do have an understanding that it will be about young people, engagement, all these skills, especially because it's through the International Labour Organization. So I know we're really going to focus on skills for young people and opportunities for young people to be employed. I have also just finished doing a podcast with Vijana Tupo. Vijana Tupo is a youth organization that is centered on youth and engagement, run by the amazing Grace Waswa, and they have partnered with the Sustainable Development Solutions Network to have podcasts that focus on different topics among young people. If you want to check it out, make sure you check out the link, check out Grace Waswa on Instagram, and check out that Vijana Tupo podcast. So basically, I was talking about the theme of this year's International Youth Day, which is focusing on youth engagement, volunteerism, and all that in action. And so I was just talking about my own journey, how I've developed, and how young people can look for ways to engage in their communities. So do have a listen into that podcast. That was a bit easy to do because it was centered around things that I already know. So Grace just sent me questions and I was able to follow through even as she asked me, and it flowed all naturally. So make sure you listen to that podcast. Have you guys heard of Unilever Heroes for Change? Have you heard of it? Well, if you've not heard of Heroes for Change, this is a program that is run in partnership with Unilever, the United Nations, Standard Group, United Nations, many partners, and basically they target university students and develop their volunteering skills and engagement in their communities, and especially in the issues of health and community engagement. And I was even watching a clip where someone was saying they even managed to get an internship at Unilever at the end of that program. So what's going to happen on Wednesday the 12th, by the time you watch this will be done. I will be speaking to young people. I'm looking at the other email, and the topic of the discussion, of course, will be centered around the theme of International Youth Day this year, and it will be about youth engagement for global action, volunteerism for the youth. So basically, I am going to talk about how young people can engage in their communities and how they can volunteer. Now, this is the first thing. The first thing you need to understand when you're going to speak to any group of people is you need to understand what the topic is about. So what I'm doing right now is researching on what Heroes for Change is, the impact it has had, and then now I need to see how that links into the kind of speech that I will give. I'm watching a number of clips by Unilever and how they documented the Heroes for Change program, and to be honest, I'm inspired to see how the young people are in the communities, ensuring that children have breakfast before they go to school, ensuring that children have, they change their behaviors and make sure they brush their teeth, children who don't have access to education due to various reasons like disabilities and all that. These Heroes for Change are going to the communities and ensuring that these young people and kids access opportunities. And I think that is the most inspiring thing about Heroes for Change. So I'm very excited to be speaking at this event. You should really check out Heroes for Change. I'm going to have 20 minutes to speak, so I need to start preparing my speaking points for the Heroes for Change webinar. Let me take you through the process of preparing the speaking points. I have my notebook here with me. Probably you've seen it when I was doing the vision board party. It's by Karatasi brand. So I'll just use this to prepare a few speaking points.
1, 2, 3, come on!
I have finished preparing my talking points. I have 20 minutes like I said, and I have 9 talking points, so I'm going to time myself even as I speak just so that I don't run over time. Let me take you through some of the points that I will read, that I will go through, but by the time you see this I will have already spoken. So of course I'm going to start with an introduction to Cynthia Untamed, which is my digital platform. Make sure you check it out. Then I'll introduce young people to my YouTube channel, and then I will introduce them to Generation Unlimited, and that will set the stage for what I will be talking about. Then the next thing I will talk about is defining volunteerism. Don't assume that everybody who has come to your webinar knows what you're going to be talking about. So I'll just introduce what volunteerism is, formal and informal volunteering. Then I'll talk about how you can get opportunities to volunteer as a young person. I'll also talk about what meaningful youth engagement is. I'll follow that by how I started volunteering, just for people to have context and see that my volunteering journey didn't just start like all of a sudden. Then I'll talk about how you can identify your skills and narrow that down now to your areas of interest, and ensure that even as you're volunteering, you create opportunities for yourself and your community. Remember, volunteering sometimes doesn't come with money, so you need to find a way of how that will build a portfolio for you. And then I'll talk about how that has given me a global platform, especially to travel and represent Kenya in different summits and workshops across the world. I'll follow that by aligning your goals to global goals and national agendas. So I'm going to specifically talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, and I will also talk about Vision 2030. I'm still trying to understand how I'm linked to the Big Four agenda in Kenya, but at least Vision 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals make sense to me. And then I will conclude my talk by having a call to action. Remember, when you're going to speak to people, you also need to enable them, to know what next after you've talked. So what I'm going to do is I'll ask people to subscribe to my channel and also read the stories of young advocates and change makers in my communities. And of course, I'll ask them to go into their communities and continue being volunteers. Hi guys, today is Wednesday, 11th of August 2020. I'm feeling a bit exhausted. I'm feeling so sleepy. Now, tomorrow is 12th of August 2020, International Youth Day. I've got quite a lot of activities to do. I wonder what you're doing on International Youth Day. So last evening I received a request to moderate a panel on International Youth Day, in addition to a speaking role I have and another panel I'm moderating in the evening. So right now I am just reading the concept note and the profiles. It's quite high level. It's a high level discussion. So I'm feeling a bit nervous, but I'm just like, okay, I can do this as long as I understand the issues, and the issues are centered on young people. I can do it. So this session that I'm preparing for right now will start at 9 a.m. and will end at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, 12th of August. And it's basically UN discussions and engagement of youth around the International Youth Day theme of youth engagement for global action. Now we are going to have very many panelists, about 7 panelists. So I was just trying to read through their profiles, but basically this session will focus on reaching the unreached. So here in Kenya there are lots of young people who are marginalized, who lack opportunities to go to school, even right now, especially right now. So tomorrow there'll be a spotlight on engaging with young people at the community level, at the national level, and the global level. And I'm going to have panelists one from UNICEF Kenya Innovation, another one from UNFPA who will be talking about sexual reproductive health care, someone from Turkana County who will be talking about the UN and delivering as one and improving the lives of people in Turkana County. We'll also have someone from UNDP who will be talking about the Ethiopia cross-border program. And we'll also focus on young people in refugee camps. So I'm reading through the profiles here, and yeah, to be honest, I'm just like, whoa. Just the other day I was moderating panels where it's my friends who are the panelists, so it wasn't that scary. I just used to wake up, I'm just like, they're my friends, I'll manage. But now these are professionals working within UN agencies, so I'm quite nervous. But I'm just like, oh well, I'll just prepare and do something about it. So they've sent me a guideline, and what I'm going to do is I've read through the profiles of the panelists. Now I'm going to come up with a question just so that it's easier for me to ask. And since it's starting at 9, I'm not sure if I'll be able to call all the panelists at least and have a briefing with them. Let's see how that goes. Guys, I am learning on the spot. I'm just like, what am I doing? But oh well, this is something I've been working towards. If you look at my vision board, check out that video on the vision board. I talked about wanting to moderate panels, and now it's when it rains it pours. So I'm going to have a busy day on Wednesday the 12th, but I am grateful. I am not complaining. I just need to put some thought and some work into it. Let me show you how the document looks like. So as you can see, this is the concept note, International Youth Day, and that explains what the panel is about. And there are my panelists, and there's a brief bio, and then this column here explains what they want to be the outcome of that discussion from each panelist. So that's how it goes. It's quite a heavy read, and I'm just reading about some of these things for the first time, so I'm just like, what is this? But oh well, guys, I'm going to learn. I'll learn along the way, and then here are some guidelines for me. So I will do my best and see how it goes. Woo! It's currently Wednesday. No, today is Tuesday, 11th of August. It's 11:23 p.m. right now. I have just finished composing my questions for the panelists. There are 8 panelists. So what I've done is I've been writing a script. of how I'm going to set the stage on on the day, that is tomorrow, 12th of August. So how I'll introduce myself, then set the context of the day with a quote and our global theme as well as our hashtag, and what meaningful youth engagement means to me. And then I will introduce the panel. So I've written all that just so that I don't struggle so much tomorrow. And then I've had to read through the profiles of each of the panelists again and again. They all work in issues that I don't have much experience in, so I've had also to read a little bit from the internet. What is the cross-border program by UNDP? What is all these agreements by the Kenyan and Ethiopian government? You know, these topics that I'm not very familiar with, but I know that this is a very important topic because it involves marginalized young people. And remember, I am the Generation Unlimited Youth Ambassador for Kenya, and this is focusing on the young people's agenda aged 10 to 24. So my panelists are from different organizations, but some of them, like 2 of them come from UNFPA, 2 from UNHCR. So I've tried to sort of spread them out so that it's not a UNFPA person speaking, then the next person is a UNFPA person, then UNDP like that. So I've tried to split them. Then I've composed a question. So I first, in blue, you'll see here in blue, I need to introduce the panelists and ask them the question. So that's what I've done. All through, so there are like 8 panelists. 8 panelists, yes. Now, my only fear is that it's a bit of last minute, so I've not had the chance to have a meeting with any of these panelists. I'm not so sure who they are. I only know one of them. So my biggest fear is that meeting at the Zoom call will be kind of challenging for me. But I'll try and just manage it, because I've tried looking through their emails to find their contacts and I've not been able to. And I don't think they'll be able to respond to an email in such a short time. So I'm hoping that I'll still manage the time well. What I've also done is I've tried to calculate the time over here. I've tried to calculate the time. So because the event is starting at 9 and ending at 10:30, and I don't want us to speak like for 90 minutes. I need to manage the time properly. So I've set my time 2 minutes maximum to speak, to open the session. Then I've given all the 8 speakers 4 minutes. I've approximated, and that equal to 34 minutes. So I've added an extra minute to equal it to 35 minutes. And then in between the sessions, I'm going to be asking the Zoom participants to send in their questions. So I've set aside 15 minutes for that. And then for me to close, give a closing summary of 2 minutes. So all this is just about 54 minutes. So we still have like 40 extra minutes there. I'm not so sure if there'll be other speakers like from the organizers who will be speaking. I'm not so sure about that. So I'd rather, keep my time to 60 minutes, just so that if there's 30 minutes and maybe the head of the agency wants to speak or something, there's a bit of time set aside. Or if any of the speakers have something to add, there's a bit of extra time to add. And if not, if the session ends much earlier and we've delivered what we needed to deliver, even better. But guys, it's challenging. It's challenging for sure. I can tell you, it's so challenging. I'm just going to sleep and pray that all goes well. I think for all the 3 engagements that I'll do, I think this is the most challenging that I will have to do. Once I'm done with this, I think I'll manage the afternoon session on Generation Unlimited. And then the other one for Heroes for Change won't be so difficult, because the audience is very youthful, I'm sure. And yeah, so I'm sure. And also the other panelists are my peers. So I'm not really intimidated by that. But this, I am intimidated. I'm just like, gosh, am I going to manage? But I've taken the time to do a bit of reading, a bit of research. So I hope that helps. Let me show you what I'm also watching. I've been watching a lot of clips on how to improve my moderating skills. Guys, I am learning, and learning constantly. Yeah. Anyway, wish me the best and see you tomorrow.
Susan, you are a development passionate lady, and you say that over 36% of the population in Turkana is youthful. That's quite huge. So what are the opportunities that exist for young people in Turkana County? Especially because a lot of the times when we talk about Turkana, we just focus on marginalization, on the floods and all that. What are the opportunities that exist for young people?
As always, thank you for tuning in to Cynthia Untamed, your youthful and educational platform where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa. I hope you learned a few speaking and panel moderation tips, and let me know what kind of video you want to see next. Until next time, see you. Follow me on Instagram at CynthiaOprah_Nyongesa, on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah, and on my digital platform, CynthiaUntamed.com. Bye.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think you'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so